Give it that. Let's bring in our diplomatic editor, James Bays. He joins me live on set. James, so the picture still remains somewhat unclear. Reports suggesting this was a limited Israeli response to that Iranian attack last Saturday. Whatever it was, how significant is it and what does it all mean, James?
This is still a dangerous moment. It has been dangerous since, I think, the Iranian attack on Israel on the 13th of April. But in terms of what Israel could have done in an attack on Iranian soil, this is about as limited as it could have been, and it seems like the Iranians have repelled it, and for now seem to be downplaying it. I'm sure there will be those. Washington, of course, is not speaking directly to Iran, but there'll be other back channels through other countries, the Gulf countries, particularly Turkey, Switzerland sometimes speaks to Iran for the US, and Oman of the Gulf countries is a key one that operates as an intermediary between the US and Iran. And I'm sure the message, perhaps, to Iran is somewhat similar to the one it was to Netanyahu.
Take the win.
You took down these drones. Take the win and do not respond, because that's the danger. We then have another Iranian response, then we have another Israeli response, and the danger is miscalculation and escalation in these circumstances.
So let's talk about some of the geopolitics, particularly at the UN, James. You follow all these events for us at the United Nations. I mean, this pretty much comes on the same day the US again gave cover to the Israelis and vetoed the Palestinian bid for full membership, yet the Israelis went against President Biden's request not to respond. What impact, James, is all this then having on the US-Israeli relationship?
Well, I think there are still tensions. Remember, we sometimes, with all of this going on, forget about what's going on in Gaza and the war in Gaza and the bombardment of the people of Gaza and the fact the Israelis still say they're going to do that Rafah offensive, which the US and its European allies say would be an absolute disaster. I think watch the UN closely for the next couple of hours because with regard to this strike, we need to see if Iran wants a Security Council meeting. Now, the way it works is only one of the 15 members of the Security Council can call a Security Council meeting. As soon as there was the attack on Israel on the 13th of the month, straight out hours afterwards, the US called for a meeting. Well, if Iran wants a meeting, Russia will call one for Iran. So we need to watch that very closely.
James, you've just taken everything back to the UN, so let me just give you a final thought on the UN. What is the mood music at the UN at the moment, James? I mean, how worried are UN members about these escalating tensions between Iran and Israel? It's also taken, as you say, it's taken the focus off Gaza and the terrible humanitarian situation there. Yeah, well, I think the risks of a regional war are the highest they've been in this very, very dangerous 6 months we've had. So people are extremely worried about the political effects of that and the economic effects, potentially, of closing the Straits of Hormuz and what that would mean for not just people in the region, but people all around the world. And it has somewhat taken the focus off Gaza, but still real concern about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, the continuing Israeli bombardment, but also the famine that's developing there. James, we've got time for one more question just to be squeezed in. You were mentioning there some of the regional players in the Middle East. How worried are they about what is unfolding before us now, James? I think the countries in the region are very, very concerned. And we're talking about those that live around the borders of Israel, because they are very, very volatile nations, and we've seen the spill over already into Lebanon and Syria and Iraq. We've seen what's been going on with the Houthis, but also now you're thinking about those countries in the Persian Gulf as well, because they are very, very close. They've got missiles potentially in a regional war that will be flying over their territory, and I think very, very serious concerns about the risks of escalation at this stage. Yeah. All right, James Bays, our diplomatic editor. James, thank you as always.